What's up, world, and welcome back to the channel. It's your man Joey, and this is a video that I wish I didn't have to make. It's a video about somebody who I have looked up to in the watch community, and it's my boy Carlos Del Campo, aka Papa Bear. His channel is Bear Cave Reviews. I'm gonna try to do this without crying because the more I think about it, the more upset I get. But me and him talked almost every day, and I was in a group message with him and Chris, the budget watchman. We would bounce ideas off of each other, and every day it was a conversation about watches, and he loved his watches, and he would always crack jokes about, he wished he had a smooth voice like mine. And, it was never a competition between us, but all of a sudden, I know he had some stuff going on with his health. And then all of a sudden he went radio silent, and I knew something was up. So, and he wasn't replying to messages and they weren't being seen. So I reached out to his wife. And this is what I wrote his wife. I said, hi. I said, I met Carlos through the watch community and we talk almost every day. I know he's going through some health issues, but he's now gone radio silent. I just need to know he's okay. Thanks. And this was her reply. Hey, Joey, thank you for reaching out. Unfortunately, Carlos is now in the end of life hospice care. He is in his final days. Fortunately, we are full of faith, and we know that he will be fully restored and free of pain on the other side. The kids and I are together. We have a huge circle of support and are feeling well loved and taken care of. He spoke of you often and very highly. Thank you for checking in on him. You have been a real gift in his life. If you would just let the watch community know how much joy they all brought him. I know there was another gentleman that worked closely with you and him. That's Chris. I apologize for not remembering his name at the moment, but he spoke of you both often with such joy for your budget watch friendship. So, I had mentioned in a TikTok live that, I wanted to give him his flowers before he was gone. So he knew how much I valued his friendship and how I look forward to talking to him and doing our video chats. And he always talked about how, he had bigger timepieces when he was younger, but now at this point in his life, he just didn't care about that kind of thing. And I'm kind of the same way. Like I could give two shits about a Rolex. Like, would I like to review one day? Sure. Whatever, own one? No. He had a particular spot that he would always stop at on the way to work to do his wrist rolls. He lives down in Central Florida, and he always had beautiful water in the background, and he would send me pictures for me to edit for him because he loved my photography. And I always look forward to seeing what watch he was going to wear that day, because the man's got boxes of watches. He loved his Paganis, he loved his Invictus. But as much as he loved his watches, he loved his family. He loved his kids. He loved his, the stuff doing with his motorcycles. He had to stop, riding his motorcycle. His wife, I think they just celebrated 30 years together or something like that. It was just, I just want him to know that, we love you, and what drew me to Carlos is I joined this group on Facebook. It was called I think it's like Budget Watches or something. And he loved creating these pictures of himself, like sitting at a desk. It was like almost like it was a cartoon style. And he would always have these great conversation pieces, like starters, like, the difference between, courts and automatics, and it'd always be, let's talk about it. It was never an argument. It was always just, let's talk about it. Voice your opinions, I'll voice mine. Like every day it was something like that. And I love that about him. It was always positive. It was never negative, but he was always positive. I know he's at home now in Central Florida with his family. I want to give him his flowers before he's gone. So Carlos, thank you for everything that you've done for the watch community. I will go back and watch every one of your videos 10,000 times. You have been a blessing to the community. And I just want you to know that you are loved, and I'll see you again soon. Love you, brother. Peace.